Hi there, creative entrepreneurs. Are you searching for the perfect platform to showcase your products and your business? Well, today's video is tailor-made just for you. Today we're gonna jump in and talk about the differences between Amazon Handmade and Etsy. So let's explore the unique features of each platform / marketplace. I might use those interchangeably, so that you can make the best decision for your handmade business. So let's start with Amazon Handmade. With Amazon's unparalleled customer base with over 300 million accounts and over 200 million of those Prime accounts, your products have the incredible opportunity to reach millions of potential customers worldwide. There are around 9 to 10 million seller accounts on Amazon, but only 2 million of those are actually active sellers. That also includes the Amazon Handmade sellers. The platform for Amazon Handmade offers a seamless integration with FBA or Prime and their campaigns and that kind of thing, and we'll get to more of that in a bit. And the Prime or Fulfilled by Amazon program is a way you can offer your products to customers with a quicker turnaround time. This means higher exposure and potentially more sales for your handmade business. On the other hand, Etsy is more of a niche platform. They have around 90 million active buyers, so smaller than Amazon by far. But of those 90 million buyers, most of them are looking for unique, one-of-a-kind items. There are around 6 million sellers on Etsy, but I could not find a good breakdown of which one of those are active. And just keep in mind with both of these platforms that the number of buyers and the number of sellers could fluctuate daily or even hourly. Both platforms offer intuitive interfaces and extensive search capabilities. As a shopper, I tend to find Amazon's marketplace easier to navigate and easier to find exactly what I'm looking for. And I often filter by price or whether it's a Prime item when I'm shopping. Amazon Handmade and Etsy both offer marketing capabilities to showcase your shop and potentially reach more buyers with your products. Etsy ads are a little easier to set up, but they do not offer as much optimization with keyword and product targeting. With Amazon ads, or what they call PPC, pay-per-click, I can change pretty much everything about my ad. I can change how much my budget is for each click. I can change my daily budget for the whole campaign. I can change which products are there. I can change which keywords show up. There's a lot of things you can do with Amazon ads that you can't do with Etsy. So on Etsy, you can only adjust a daily budget and the products that are shown with those ads for Etsy ads. You only have keyword space for 13 tags at 20 characters each, and there's no way to add additional keywords or additional tags in your advertising. It's just based on what's in your product listing. You can see the search terms, the ad spend, and the revenue on both platforms. You can do offsite ads with Etsy, but you have no control over where they're seen, how much they cost, how much Etsy is spending when they show those ads, or whether they show one product over another. Like I sell stickers, so when someone types in planner stickers, I don't know which item they're actually seeing in the ad. And Etsy controls all the offsite ads. So shops that make less than $10,000 a year pay a fee of 15% for all ads that Etsy shows offsite. Again, with no control. You have no control. So the amount of the fee, the 15%, is based on the amount you sold before the advertising fee is removed. So kind of your subtotal before any fees. So this becomes very hard to track because you don't know what the customers are seeing. You don't know what they're actually purchasing, and they may see one of your items and not purchase that item, but they may purchase something else that's a higher price point. And because they purchased based on an ad click, then it still gets attributed to that offsite ad, even though it may be a different product. Also, a lot of these ad clicks are active for, I'm not sure exactly how long they're active on Etsy, but a lot of them are active for 30 days. Any kind of those tracking Affiliate links are typically good for about 30 days. So if they click on your item, they don't purchase right away and they come back a few days later, there may be ad spend and a fee that you need to pay based on an ad click from a couple of days ago. So let's talk about the fees for both marketplaces. On Amazon, the advantage is the clarity. Amazon charges one referral fee, and while it may vary for a different product category, it is anywhere from 8 to 20%, and that is the base fee. There is no extra listing fee or anything like that, and it's just on the price of the item. It doesn't include shipping or gift wrap or any of that, just on the item price. So if you're selling something for $5 and your fee is 15%, the 15% would just be on the $5. The shipping is extra over to the side if it's a seller fulfilled item. If it's in Prime, that's different, and we'll get to that in a minute. The fee can be slightly higher on Amazon than it is for Etsy, so you may need to adjust your pricing to ensure that you still turn a profit for your products. So Etsy, on the other hand, likes to charge 3 different fees. There is a listing fee, which is 20 cents, and that is every time the product is purchased. So if someone purchased 4 items in an order, that's 20 cents 4 times, 1 for each item. If they happen to purchase the same item just in a different color, they get red and blue, that's 20 cents each, so 40 cents for those 2 items. So just keep in mind that every time someone actually buys an item, that is 20 cents for the listing fee. So the second fee is the Etsy transaction fee, and this is the fee that actually went up about a year or so ago. It is now 6.5%. So it's 6.5% off of your total sale. That includes shipping, if you charge them for extra customizations, if you charge them for like any gift wrapping or anything like that, any additional charges except for sales tax gets included in that 6.5%. So is where the Amazon fee is only on the item, it is on everything on the Etsy side. And I say it's not included on sales tax. This as long as you don't have it set up incorrectly. If you have it set up correctly, Etsy and Amazon both will collect sales tax and remit it on your behalf for most states in the United States, and I think several provinces in Canada. But if you roll the sales tax into the price of your item, then they will charge you a fee on the sales tax as well. So it's very beneficial to make sure that you have it set up correctly, and so that Etsy takes the sales tax out for you and remits it on your behalf. So the third and final fee on Etsy is the transaction fee, and this is like a credit card processing fee, which is 3% plus 25 cents. So no matter how much the item costs or what your transaction is, it is always going to have 25 cents plus that extra 3%. I don't know why they set it up that way. It is very odd. If you're in another country, the transaction fees may be slightly different. You'll have to check Etsy and ensure which fee you're being charged. They do list all the fees for each country on the website. It's easy to type in Etsy transaction fees and figure out where you land. So for the US or Canada, that means that if someone purchases one item in your shop, you're paying 9.5% plus 45 cents on that one item in fees. I often have people purchase just one sheet of stickers, and typically they're around $5 to $6. Occasionally I have some stuff that sells for $2 or $3, some smaller sheets, and people will purchase just one. They pay more for shipping than they do for the sticker sheet, but that is their preference, and I'm getting charged the 9.5% plus 45 cents on every single one of those sales. So when you look at a $2 item, I'm losing 45 cents right off the top without any additional fees. Also, keep in mind that on Etsy, the listing fees is 20 cents every 4 months, whether or not you sell the item or not. The listings expire after 4 months. To relist the item or renew the listing, you have to pay another 20 cents. If you do a custom listing, a private listing for someone, then you pay the 20 cents when it is purchased, not when you set it up. So if they ask for one and then end up not purchasing it, you haven't really lost anything, but you do still get charged that 20-cent fee. So I have gone through and removed items on Etsy that weren't selling, that had been up for a while, and I'd spent $2 or $3 on the listing, it just being active on the website with no purchases. So I got rid of some of my items. I did kind of a bigger audit this past winter to make sure that I wasn't spending extra money that I didn't need to. On Amazon, since you don't pay the listing fee, there's no reason to remove a product, and the listings are there for as long as you let them be there. Even sold out items, if you sent someone a custom listing on Amazon, they can go back and click on that and still see it. It says currently unavailable, but the listing is still there and they can request that same item again if they would like. So let's talk about the product variations. This can get overwhelming for buyers. I myself have been overwhelmed by the amount of variations offered on Etsy. Etsy makes it very complicated to add variations to your products. You cannot do it in bulk. You have to do each one individually, and you're only allowed 70 total variants on one item. You are allowed to add personalization and the variants at the same time. You can have personalization and 2 different categories of variants, but you can only have 70 options under those categories together. So if you're trying to do jewelry that is a letter, and you have a different font, and you have gold, silver, or rose gold, well, now you're gonna need to do a personalization for one of those, because now you have 3 options of things that could be changed on the item. One thing I did notice when I was doing my research is that personalization has a limit of 1,024 characters, which seems like a lot, but if you're using the personalization to have people select colors or fonts or that kind of thing on top of variations that are already in the listing, you're gonna need those spaces. Typically, I try to limit mine to only be like 25 characters, and the personalization is exactly that. It's just a personalization thing. So custom text or anything like that. And then I have the options below in the variants to choose like which font you want or something like that. This does not include the number of items they purchase. The quantity filled is not counted, and that is a separate thing on the listing that doesn't count as one of your variants. I've definitely not purchased items because of the number of options and getting confused of where the seller wanted me to put certain things. So if I'm buying a ring that has a word on it and it has different fonts and it has different colors and I get confused, I'm just gonna click out of that listing and leave. And I've done that several times on Etsy. So with Amazon, you are limited to only 2 categories again, but you're not limited on the number of options under those 2 categories. So you can have a color and a size, and you can have every size imaginable and 100 different colors, and it's totally fine. Amazon will let you list it. Amazon creates a parent listing, and underneath that, it creates child listings for each one of those. So when you go to restock, you can restock just the ones that are out of stock and not have to restock all of them at one time. And if one of them sells out, if you've shopped on Amazon before, you notice it's been kind of grayed out. So that means that one's sold out, but the other options are still available. It does streamline the buying process to have variants and allow customers to see them in that way. One thing Amazon does have over Etsy is the fact not only that you can add hundreds of variants, but you can also do it via a .csv upload. Meaning you can have a bulk file. You can actually download the file from Amazon, fill it in with all of your variants and options, and then upload it back into Amazon so that you don't have to sit and fill out each one individually. On Etsy, if you want to have all those 70 variants, you've got to type every single one of them in and click add. It's not an easy process when you have 20 or so different variants to add to an item. So let's talk about the approval process next. So on Etsy, pretty much anyone can open an account and start selling. There may be some verifications with, uploading pictures of your photo ID or an address or things like that. That's pretty much it. Etsy doesn't really police any of the items very well. They've started policing some with AI, but to be honest, there's really no control over what gets listed on Etsy. And the problem really became when they started allowing craft supplies and vintage and handmade. It kind of opened up everything, and it's hard to find, sometimes depending on what category, real true handmade or person designed items. There's also a plethora of copyright or trademark issues on Etsy, and That's where they're using the AI, and several sellers have gotten in trouble with having trademark or copyrighted items. Right now, like say you have something listed for Disney in your shop, Disney has to actually send Etsy a message and say, hey, they're infringing on our copyright. We didn't give them the rights to use this. And then Etsy has to go in and pull it down and send you a notice. And then there's a kind of a back and forth. So that's one of the reasons why all the items are still there. Etsy has started using an AI to help them get rid of non-handmade kind of third-party resellers on their platform. Problem with this is that it is catching some true handmade items, and because they're using AI and there's not a person on the other end, it takes some time to get your item relisted or back in the Etsy search algorithm. Meanwhile, you've lost your momentum on maybe your best seller and your shop is taking a hit. On Amazon, I have been caught by the AI. I added a phrase to my listing that I thought would be okay. It actually caught it and deactivated my listing. I got an email within a couple of hours that it had been deactivated with a reason why. This is the other thing with Etsy is they don't always tell you exactly why it was removed, but Amazon lets you know exactly why it was removed. I went in, I fixed the problem, and it was relisted within a couple of hours. I did lose some momentum, but it came back pretty quickly because I was pretty quick about fixing that mistake. So back to the approval process, because that was a tangent. So on Etsy, you don't have to fill out an application and you do not have to get your listings approved, and pretty much anyone can list there. On Amazon Handmade, there is a handmade application. You have to provide pictures of your workspace and products, and they ask several questions about your business. And then if you're approved and you have a professional seller account, you will get converted to a handmade seller. Amazon also does verifications for regular professional seller accounts, where they will require address verification, and how they do that is they send you a piece of mail and it has a code on it and you have to input the code into your account. They also require either a photo ID, like just pictures of photo IDs, but recently they have been doing these kind of on like a video chat to ensure that you are who you are. And Amazon has strict copyright and trademark infringement policies. I've been caught by that bot before and got my listing up within back on the site within a few hours. Keep that in mind when listing your items, that on Amazon, when something gets deactivated, you're gonna get a better response from Amazon than you are from Etsy, because Etsy is using bots. Amazon does use bots. There's not just Etsy that's using them, but Amazon also has a team behind all of their listings, and as soon as you fix it, a person is actually reviewing it and letting the listing go back up. Another thing to consider is that Amazon has employees that are strictly on a handmade team. They have a prime team along with their regular customer seller support. So there's like 3 levels of people depending on what you're selling and how you're selling it. There's multiple ways that you can get in touch with someone to actually speak with someone and not feel like you're sending an email into a void. So the approval process for Amazon does ensure that there is a curated marketplace for handmade sellers, and all sellers have to meet their criteria to be included in the handmade section on their marketplace. So let's touch on the payments and the payouts. So Etsy has their own Etsy payment system where it will take credit cards or Apple Pay and that kind of thing. And you pretty much need to have that set up to accept Etsy payments. You can also turn on PayPal if you wish to allow payments that way. And I think in some foreign countries, PayPal is the only way to actually purchase. They don't have Etsy payments set up. On Amazon, we all know we can use credit cards, debit cards. They have their own credit card that you can get to get a discount on Amazon items. So there's lots of ways you can purchase things on Amazon. On Etsy, they use Klarna as their pay over time, like installment plan. Your item has to be $50 or more, or your purchase has to be $50 or more, and the payments are spread out over 4 payments. On Amazon, they do have a payment installment. It depends on the product and the price, but they also have a payment plan option if you're not using a credit card. So for sellers, Amazon also has Amazon Lending, and it is a great way to get a cash infusion into your business. You do need to use the money that you're getting from the Amazon lending to grow your Amazon business. So I have done that before when my business was growing pretty rapidly and I needed extra supplies and I didn't have the income right away for all the supplies. I did get a loan from Amazon to purchase more materials so that I could continue to send in items to them before I got paid from them. And that really helped kind of push me over that hump of the growth area. It's been great. It comes straight out of your payments that they send you, so you don't ever have to worry about it. As long as you have money in your account when they go to remove it, then it's no big deal, and you never actually see the money disappear, which is kind of good and bad at the same time. Both Amazon and Etsy will use your balance to pay for items that need to be paid for. So on Etsy, if you have listing fees and transaction fees and everything that need to be paid, they will use your existing balance to pay for those, and Amazon does the same. On Etsy, you can set it up to get paid out from them daily, weekly, every 2 weeks, or monthly, just depending on how your business runs and what you need to operate. I have mine set up to be weekly, which seems to be a good cadence. I thought daily was a little excessive, and I didn't want to get deposits of $3 and $4 at a time, so that seemed to work the best for me. Amazon, they typically pay out every 2 weeks. It's based on when your account was set up and when your reserve is open. They do hold back some of the money to cover any returns or any, shipping you may purchase or anything like that. They do hold some back, but they pay you out every 2 weeks. And if you need a payment sooner, you can request it. And if you have express payouts set up, you can get your money within 24 hours. And it does come like the next day. So I've requested it at night before and it's been in my account the next morning. So it does happen pretty quickly. So quickly, we'll touch on the return policy. On Etsy, pretty much every seller sets up their own policy, and as a buyer, you have to kind of dig through their shop to find it, and everyone could be different. On Amazon, there is a standardization of returns, and Amazon kind of requires you to meet that. This means sellers may have to accept returns even if it's something that's not their fault, and it can get a little annoying sometimes with customers returning things and you don't really understand why, because if you've purchased on Amazon before, when you go to return something, you have to put a reason, but there's always that, well, I just don't want it anymore, and that's not really an option. So they'll pick the item as defective, or they'll choose that it didn't arrive on time or something when really and truly it did. So you just kind of have to keep that in mind. Amazon also offers an A to Z guarantee, and sometimes that can be a little hard to navigate as an Amazon handmade seller, but to be honest, I really haven't had any A to Z claims, so I haven't had to navigate that as of yet. Most of the items I get back from customer returns can be repackaged and resent in for Prime, or I can keep for the next sale. Most of them haven't been touched, and it's easy to just put them back in stock. So there's one thing that Amazon has that Etsy doesn't, and that, my friend, is Prime, or Fulfilled by Amazon. Prime is an unmatched service by Amazon that can supercharge your sales by offering customers unparalleled speed and convenience. This allows you to send an inventory to Amazon for them to warehouse it. And this could potentially open up customers that would normally purchase from you due to delivery times, or maybe not even delivery times. On Etsy, you can change your processing time to 1 day, but then you have to ship it and it's gonna come postal service or UPS or FedEx, and they may not be willing to wait the time that it takes to get shipped to them, or the shipping fee may be super high. So this Prime allows for you to send your items into Amazon. There is a little bit higher of a fee. It's based on the product and size, and that allows them to warehouse it and ship it for you and have it to the customer within a couple of days, most likely. So many shoppers, including myself, will often filter for Prime items before they purchase to ensure that they can get that item quickly. I have been doing FBA or Prime since I opened my Amazon store, and I would not have been able to hit 50K in 2022 for gross sales if it wasn't for Amazon Prime. I could not have shipped that many orders on my own, and there's no way people would have paid all the shipping fees if they weren't in Prime. So now that we've run through everything, in the end, it is really up to you whether you choose Amazon or Etsy. And it's totally based on your specific needs and your business. And in my opinion, both platforms have their merits, but Amazon Handmade offers a vast audience and streamlined services that can be a game changer for your business, as it has been for mine. So if you're ready to jump into Amazon Handmade and give it a shot, I have a freebie down below in the description that is a 3-step quick start guide. It's pretty quick and easy. It tells you everything you need to get your account set up and apply to Amazon Handmade. If you're really interested in Amazon and maybe you're a current seller or you want to sell, I have a course coming out in September that will walk through everything in Amazon on the back end. It is going to have a full Seller Central overview with how to ship and how to list and how Prime works and all that. We're going to answer a lot of questions. So I'm really looking forward to getting that course launched for you guys. So if you're interested in the course, you can jump over to primedforsuccess.co to sign up for the email list so that you know when that course is launched in September. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. So thank you for tuning in. If you found this comparison valuable, hit that subscribe button for more insights and strategies to elevate your handmade business. And let me know down in the comments below if you're ready to jump into Handmade on Amazon and try a new marketplace for your business. Bye.